So it's time for an allotment update, and I will explain why I haven't done one in a very long period of time. This autumn and winter have been very disruptive to our allotment weekend projects. We haven't been able to get a lot done because we've had about 4 months of rain. It has been a complete washout. The vegetables that were supposed to be for the winter veg suffered terribly. In the case of broccoli, it was pretty much the entire harvest we lost. Now things are starting to warm up again, and it has stopped raining, although you can see only recently. We are in fact ahead of ourselves in terms of land preparation. As you can see, all the rotational bays, 1, 2, 3 and 4 have been dug and sorted out. We've sorted out half of the hump here, and we sorted out this, which is sort of the gigantic bay where we have our big stuff like courgettes and pumpkins. The thing that we're working on at the moment is the strawberry field. We need to basically respace all our strawberries, which we're doing, I don't know if you can see down there, all the way along, and getting rid of the grass. That's the operation for the moment, as well as replacing the paths. Now, one path has been replaced already by fabric, and that was this one here. You can see it does look better than the others, see, but only ever so slightly. Fabric paths are due for redoing. They only last a couple of years, and ours have lasted extremely well, actually, considering. But we are trying to move towards slabs, and if we look along here, you can see more of what we're trying to do. The water will embed these slabs over time, and they're a lot less dangerous. There's a lot less trip hazard. They don't have to be replaced every couple of years. Where are we getting our slabs from? Well, basically we do have a couple of things. If you look in here, this is the start of a number of sort of new slabs, roof tiles, paving slabs, basically, that are coming from my parents' place, because they are redoing their bathroom. They are redoing their garden, and for some reason the guy who lived there before them has embedded all sorts of things, from railway sleepers to all sorts. So there is an abundance, at least probably enough to sort this out, of paving slabs, cost free, because they are very expensive if you want to buy them, which we don't particularly. We would like to sort of find them lying around, really. In here you can see my fruit bushes. We do have new growth, which is good. This is a black currant, although I have to admit that I am slightly worried by a few things. This black currant hasn't really got it very badly, but if we look, do you see, there we are, that's actually a type of moss, or a type of lichen, which is growing on the plant like a fungus. Not sure what the long-term prognosis of that is. I have found some on here as well. Where are you? You can sort of start to see, I don't know, can you see the bluey green that's growing, sort of the white bit that's just, yep, that's it. That's just beginning to, this is, what's this, red currant, I think? Yes, this is one of our red currants. I just need to make absolutely sure that that is not going to kill them. It would be harsh to, you know, have to cut them all back at this time of year, because they're just about to come out. But in the same way, if it's something that sort of kills the plant or invades, then we're going to have to do something. A lot of that will be airborne, because it's mild-ish and it's wet. hopefully we're going to find that our tree here, our apple tree, has recovered from last year. Last year it had a horrible sort of blight, some mould that was spread through the air. Thankfully it was only affecting the fruit, it wasn't affecting the tree itself. So although we had a rather lacklustre harvest, the long-term prognosis wasn't too bad. Our fruit trees, we're not expecting anything from this year. They will leaf, they may even blossom, but we are still at least 2 years, I would think, away from getting anything that's edible from them. I have to say, one of the things that I am rather pleased with, if we cross over here, is my cranberry bush. Look at my cranberry bush. Yep, I'm right pleased with that, as I am pleased with the fact that my kiwi here is still alive. How bizarre is that? It's beginning to bud again. That's the sort of thing that should have died. Should have died. This is doing much better, this one. See? Lots and lots of buds. No sign of any of the mould. But, again, we're another 2 or 3 years away from that providing us with anything worth having. The ruby chard has done excellent. It is now finally beginning to wilt, and that is just because it's reached the end of its yearly cycle, basically. Very, very pleased with that. Always pleased with chard. You plant it in the spring, well, late spring, and then you can start eating it. You eat it all the way through the autumn, all the way through the winter, and until it sort of goes a bit flaccid like that in about February, March of the year after. Now, one of the important changes is here. These are 2 of what will be 4 raised beds. The other, there'll be one there and one here. And these 4 will mirror these large 4. And what they're for is for putting in the plants that need a little bit more attention. So respectively they will move from year to year in the rotational cycle with their, you know, main crop types over here, but they need a lot more sort of attention. So we'll probably have at least one of these will be a legumes bay, because we don't have a legumes bay and they need a lot of work. Peas and beans, basically. I think we're thinking of carrots, I think sweet potatoes. And the sweet potatoes, although they don't need extra work, it's so that we actually have all the ground in one of these rotational bays every year for the normal crop of potatoes, which are chittering away nicely, as are in fact the onion sets. You can see that we've dug this all over and there's mulch and shit and God knows what being dug in there. Marvellous. One of the highlights of the allotment that has not been at all ruined by the wet is my herb garden. It's looking surprisingly good. About the only thing that seems to have suffered is whatever this was here. I think that could have been some sort of basil or something. But my chamomile's coming back. The rest of my things they're showing growth. At least look at the chives there. Curry plant has gone mad. This sorrel went mad last year. We've got lemon balm down there, some sort of oregano as well. The thyme has banded together, and the rosemary is so happy. It's flowering already. Marvellous. My lemon thyme is making a comeback. That lemon thyme has never recovered from when my father ran over it with a wheelbarrow. He took the corner that was there too quickly, ran right over it. It's never recovered. The other thing that I'm worried about in the allotment is our rhubarb. I'm worried about what that is, because I think it's some sort of rot. I'm worried because it could be like windburn, fair enough, but my worry is that it's actually some sort of rot and it will harm the plant. And you can see that this rhubarb, oh, it's a blessing to us, it really is. But I don't want it to all end up like that. So I need to be careful that when it comes out, turns green and doesn't sort of turn orange. Otherwise we might have to do something with that as well. Those are the raspberry canes. Goodness knows whether they're going to produce anything this year or not. And here is the area that is going to be our flower meadow, with the one flower from last year that has survived. That's going there. The rest of the flower bank is here, and not much has done very well because a lot of the stuff that was in here was spring bulbs, and they were not brilliant when I put them in, and I'm worried that they've probably rotted away. We have some dahlias, no action on them yet either, or the Astramaria, but then it is early days. Even the lavender is only beginning to show signs of new growth. We're all at least a month behind, all of us, I'm afraid. The shed was the one weekend project that we managed to get sorted out. This shed is it's a mixture of two different sheds shoved together to provide a makeshift thing, and the problem was that the roof wasn't one slab, it was basically a layer, just like panels, just like this all the way across, and because of that and the way it was tilted, it was leaking, and that was destroying things inside, not to mention the worry that it was going to start rotting the wood. So we had to redo it. It was always something on our list, but never did it become more important until during one of the storms the old felt, that's this stuff here, ripped off and it was exposed, and there was bits all over here. So we cleared that up and we had to quick smart sort this out. We did this in very, very quickly, in dreadful conditions and with very, very little light. We were working well into the night with flashlights and phone lights and all sorts to get this done. You may think it's makeshift, I don't care, because we put a lot of work and effort into this, and it's worked. It's dried out the shed nicely. I don't know if I have told you or not that we are no longer having a greenhouse. Our issue with the greenhouse is that whilst it would be useful because we could grow things from seed instead of growing them from plants, and we would be able to grow stuff inside a warm environment, we'd need to be down here every day. And you know, we try and get down here as much as we can, but it's just not going to work. So better that we use a conservatory at home for growing the stuff that needs to be grown in a warm climate, and continuing, I'm afraid, from plants on the rest of it. It's a lot of work however you do it. We are still planning on putting some sort of decking or patio here, but there will be no greenhouse, so that has since become not as much of a priority as it was. We are in the middle, you can see, of sorting out what's left of that. See, that was part of the roof from the old shed that we'll have to sort out. There's a lot of bricks and stuff that this needs to be tidied up. As well as that, we have sorted out now, an area around the other side which is used for storage. There we are, and that's much better than it was. So the only other thing to look at is the spring bank, which again has been very slow here. I worry that at least some of these will have rotted, the bulbs underneath. Bulbs don't do well in heavy water. There's a hollyhocks at the end, which I'm expecting big things from this year. Goodness knows if any of my award-winning, well, would have been award-winning, gladioli, which are planted behind, have survived the winter wet. I hope they have not, the bulbs have not rotted, but it is way too early to tell. And that's it. With our potatoes chitting and our onion sets bought and ready, at this point in time we are about bang on schedule, despite the unseasonable weather. We are prevailing.